Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. It's another great session we're going to have here today. But before we start, I would like to ask you a question. How many of you did use Teams or Zoom prior to COVID, prior to the year 2020? How many of you did they interact this way? Only a few. And how about after COVID, post-COVID? See, everybody, that includes me. I've never thought that I will be doing online meetings with my boss online. And believe me, I thought it's going to be easier than having it face-to-face, and it's not. It's just even more difficult. So today, this is the session that we're going to be discussing. We're going to talk about the next frontier for networking and this hybrid, this mix between online meetings and face-to-face. And we have great speakers here today. They're going to talk to us about where do they see the future, and they are the co-founders and founders of High Table. Please welcome Anil, Shetty, co-founder High Table Networks, and Arshia, Rashid, Chief Outreach Officer, High Table Networks. Thank you so much for joining us. Please have a seat. So it's a very beautiful topic, and I feel like I've been selected for this topic because it's something that intrigues me, that prior to the year 2020, communication was at a certain level. Post-2020 and COVID and whatever hit the word, it was just at another level. But I would like to start with you, Anil. And first of all, when we talk about the creation and the inspiration for High Table, what can you tell us about this? I mean, did you look at the professional networking platforms and you thought that there's an opportunity there to create something as High Table?
Well, High Table is an offline social networking platform, not only restricted to professional networking, but it's an interest-based networking platform. We want less people to engage in the app and use app as a tool to coordinate meetings and meet offline. Currently, the app has simple two functions. One, you can just go and host a table anywhere, specific location and specific subject, and others can go reserve a seat on that table which is hosted by people of different interests. So it remains as a simple group meeting coordination app. Lesser engagement on the app, people don't meet on the app, so you really don't know who is coming on the table. Only the host will know the rest of the people, and the attendees will know who the host is. So when you go and meet them in real, there's a bit of surprise element to it. Same time, because it's based on shared interest, you know that you are going there to talk, have a real life conversation. So that's the simplicity of this app. It is just an offline social networking which enables real life conversations and which eventually we hope builds real connections.
So that's great. I'm sure that you use social media as all of us. So to what extent your use of social media platforms and other communication platforms was integrated into the creation of High Table?
Yes, because we believe that people are online, billions of people are online. And to take them offline, it's very interesting. We were offline and the big tech companies took us online. And now we have to do the little bit of reversal to take this probably my generation and the subsequent generation offline so that we build the real life connections. What I see is that as the virtual world picked up and we all hide behind the screen, we are a part of a lot of community. So we humans are designed to be part of community. So we can never live alone. And in fact, we just had that conversation, remember that thing. So I am a core believer of the idea that we are social beings and we will always be a part of the community. But in the last decade, the more communities formed online than offline. So mine and the subsequent generation lost the art of real life connections because there's always a screen in front of us and we hid behind it and spoke to the people online, as like whether it's Zoom, whether it's Clubhouse, anything. But actual being a human, it's very important to build the connection in real, because in-person meetings can never be replaced by the virtual meetings. So that is a core idea, that let's help the newer generation build real life connections let them get out of their phones, which they spend a lot of time only scrolling. I should not be referring them, like it includes me, and we want to get out. So that's why we decided that we need a simple communication app. High Table, why the name High Table is important, so because I'm a big movie goer, so I watch almost one movie a day. So you may ask that how do you get 2 hours, 15 minutes time, and I'm not married, so you will have the time. So High Table is the name I picked from John Wick movie. So it's a table, if you see the 12 people table, and each seat is reserved to a mafia don. So there's an elder. The elder is a host. So we just did the different things. So here there's a host and there are attendees. And the host is the one who brings people together. So it's only between host and the attendees. And host becomes the central part to bring people together and break the ice. And then the conversation flows.
What is a very interesting idea. So Arshia, I would like to ask you, I mean, COVID changed everything. It changed different sectors, different industries. It changed how we view our own lives and our daily tasks, and of course, the communication landscape overall. So to what extent what we experienced and what you experienced in COVID was also integrated in your vision for High Table?
I think we can all agree that post-pandemic a lot changed, and we live in a world that we believe that dialogue is the crux of finding common ground between us humans. But having said that, I think we also represent a generation that really highly depends on the virtual image that we create for ourselves, but when put into a social setting, it's not okay for us to go out there and have conversations. Like the basic art of having conversations is lost. So us at High Table, we just want to bring back those times and make it normalize it again to sit down and have meaningful conversations with people.
But very, very true, and especially that during COVID, we have reached an understanding, a complete understanding of how important it is to communicate between each other. So, Anil, back to you, and to what extent do you think that it's easy to strike a balance between, I mean, technology and meeting online, and at the same time having a human interaction?
Well, I believe that technology should only be the tool. It should not be the life, correct? So technology should become the enabler of our lifestyle. We should not get lost in the technology, and like for example, at the end of the day, we are an app, right? So it is a technology which helps us bring people offline, and to make use of the technology, yet not lose the very essence of who we are as humans are most important. And we all use technology to an extent that our life runs on it, right? But at the same time, it's very important that the human connections are more important than the technology. Even though there are people who could say that without the technology, we can't do anything, but there existed a time without the technology, people used to live, right? So I think currently, if you see the many social media platforms, and whether it's Instagram, which becomes a social commerce app, it's LinkedIn, which becomes a professional networking app, Twitter, which is the opinion making app. It's all of this thing only actually the enabler of who we are, correct? So it enhances our lifestyle. It should not become the inevitable. So to our own individuality, right? So I think we maintain our individuality and we interact with other human beings as the other human being, and not to always have the layer of technology which separates us from our real self.
No, but there are also the cultural changes and the cultural differences. So to what extent does that as well affect how we interact online, whether through platforms like High Table or through social media platforms overall. I mean, this cultural element, this cultural factor, how do you see it being integrated in the future in communication platforms?
I think, of course, we are divided among nationality, race, different cultural backgrounds, different economic background. But there's one thing common, is that we all have shared interests as humans. That alone is enough to build a connection with one among 8.5 billion people, with anyone. So, like, for example, I'm here today in Dubai, right? And I'm a fashion entrepreneur back home, and I want to meet fellow fashion entrepreneurs in Dubai. That's an interest, shared interest, right? So I float a table on High Table saying like that, guys, I have a table reserved at so-and-so cafe, Twice Cafe, which is close by, and I want to meet fellow fashion entrepreneurs. What High Table does is that it sends out a notification to those people who have this similar kind of interest, that Anil Shetty from Bangalore is here, he's back home a fashion entrepreneur, he would like to meet a fellow fashion entrepreneur. So they have an opportunity to come on my table and discuss probably the cross-border collaboration of fashion entrepreneurship, or share some of the insights from learning from different markets, right? So for example, morning, so I was on her table, she hosted a table pre-IGF catch-up. Like, we met a couple of people last evening, and today morning she hosted a table, and 6-7 of us are on the table, and we had fun. And interestingly, all of us, like, I knew few of them, otherwise all of them met for the first time. And I believe that everybody is a stranger before you meet. At the High Table, we are on a mission to bring strangers together who eventually end up being friends, partners, business partners, life partners, co-travelers, anything and everything. And you actually barged into our table last night.
That is true. That is true. So I have 2 minutes left, and a quick one. I personally have a problem whenever I'm on an online meeting, is that the energy doesn't get through. You know, meeting someone in person, you kind of get a sense of his energy or her energy, and you know, to what extent does she fit your character, whether it's a personal meeting or a professional meeting. Any advice for me on how to tackle that? Because it's really a challenge for me whenever I'm on an online meeting, that I'm trying my best to get who I really am through.
Honestly, we do not need tips to have a conversation with someone we meet for the first time, because that's the art that we've grown up with, and as humans, that's something that comes naturally to us. But funny story to add to that, I met Anil last year at IGF. I was representing a different company altogether, but today we are on High Table as co-founders. So I think mentioning, like, if it's a first date, you never know that first date could be your business partner, could be a romantic partner, or could be someone that you could get inspired with, is why, like, on the app, we allow having like 4 to 10 people, where the host becomes an icebreaker between people. So because it's a curated table, the host is engaging with everyone and making everyone feel comfortable and getting them out of their comfort zones and just having conversations. So I think the only tip would be to be yourself and go out there and explore and meet people.
That's a great one. Thank you so much, Arshia, and thank you so much, Anil, for this beautiful insights. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give them a round of applause before I introduce the next panel. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.